start on a bit of a somber note, and I do hate to do this with a guest here. But one host last week, I'm not going to say who, it's really impossible to check, unfortunately, just based on the way we do the show, asserted that wind chill is quote-unquote not real and quote-unquote just a way for people to be dramatic about the temperature while sounding scientific. And
I think that the term bullshit was thrown around.
I think the term bullshit was thrown around. Yeah. I think the term. I think somebody might have used the term ice cuck once or twice. Who's to say? Impossible to check. Like I said, we've been informed by Oregon Will on TikTok. I only watched his video informing us, so if there's other bad shit in there, I don't know if that's the case. I don't know what he wants Oregon to be. That's all I'm saying. But he seems to have a good idea of wind chill that he explains with temperature and shit.
Yeah, it was very informative. But sorry, Andrew, can I ask you to pronounce the state?
Oregon.
I think you're leaning a little too hard on the on. I think it's Oregon is more the.
Man,
if someone,
you know what?
if someone, I think, if we're going to be humble and accept this criticism, I think we should at least acknowledge, like, the state's pronounced Oregon.
Such a respectful
I disagree to disagree.
So you're, what about where the capital is? How do you pronounce that?
I know where the capital of that state is for sure, and I don't even need to look that shit up.
No, the capital of the country. I'm looking to hear you pronounce Washington as Washington.
Washington.
Okay. Washington. Yeah.
It's the T.
No, I guess you're right.
Yeah, a T and a G do different things.
So would the capital then be Portland?
Right.
Is that the capital of Oregon? It's impossible to find out.
Of Oregon, I would say.
Oregon, right.
Yeah. Oregon. Let me read you a comment that we got on YouTube on the short that was posted of, once again, one of the hosts saying wind chill isn't real. I don't know which one. Saying that wind chill is not real. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up real quickly because I'm going to tell you it's pretty brutal. A typical perspective of somebody who doesn't have to be outside on a cold day with a high wind chill. Number one, I'm just going to start here. You are right. You should feel how soft my hands are. It's really nice. It's actually really comfy. If anyone's come through and like take a nap, maybe that'll be a Patreon bonus. A typical perspective from somebody who doesn't have to be outside on a cold day with a high wind chill. Never will they have to experience the combination of cold and wind against exposed skin, or deal with how wind chill affects other things that wouldn't otherwise. I don't blame you. I only truly cared about wind chill when I was a firefighter / EMTB. If we knew the day was going to be cold and very windy, we had to repair the fire engine, rescue squad, and ourselves to be able to operate outside. Wind chill affected the likelihood of arriving on the scene with a viable or rescuable patients if they were found outside. It also affected how quickly the fire engine's water pump would freeze, how efficient the extrication tools would operate, and how unpredictable fire behavior could become on a structure or vehicle fires, all while trying to keep yourself alive. So that is very serious. Unfortunately, and this is true, the firefighter, thank you for your service, who left that comment, his username is CrispyBacon101.
Yeah. I don't know. That sounds all right for a firefighter.
Would you prefer your bacon soggy?
Right.
What would you prefer?
What weird stance is this?
I am a good Jew boy host. I only eat pickled herring once a week. I sit in a podcasting bubble. I listen to other comedians and steal their jokes, and then I come in here and tell them better. Anyway, speaking of which, as you guys can hear, we do have a guest today. She is an actress, comedian, the voice of great American brands that do not want to be associated with this podcast, but I will find a way to make them pay us anyway. Natalie, Reff, she's waving, but this is an auditory medium.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. I was saying before the show that the story of how Natalie Reff came on this show is we went to theater camp together 13 years ago. Then 6 weeks ago, I smoked a bunch of weed and messaged her and said, "Hey, I have a podcast. Want to be on?" And then I was like, "She's going to be like, no." So then I sent a bunch of messages about how if she doesn't want to be associated with the podcast, it's fine. Then I was like, this makes it sound like my podcast is worse than it is. Then I deleted those messages. Then I was like, deleting those messages.
I wonder what the unset messages were.
It was mostly messages of me being like, she's going to freak out that the first... So, a little more background is there's a clip, one of the earlier clips that went viral, like semi-viral of this show, was me talking about the time I got a mosquito bite on my dick, and it is a not accurate representation of this show. Mostly.
Well, I will say I did not do enough research to even see that. I just was like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, no, I thought I had dick cancer when I was in college because I got a mosquito bite on my dick, and then I had to tell my now wife, my girlfriend at the time, and that's a hard because I had to approach her and be like, "There's a lump on my dick," being like, "I thought it was dick cancer," but she thought it was like an STD because I had been. Because obviously if somebody approaches you and there's lump, but then she looked at it and she was like, no, it's obviously a fucking mosquito bite and it's neither of those things. Like that is.
I love that she looked at it and knew that.
Right.
Yeah, she looked at it and was like, if you. Yeah, when there's a lump there, do you understand what it would be like if the world was robbed of the experience that has been described by some as fine, I guess?
I could not even fathom a world.
Mm-hmm. I know, man. I would have to devote myself more to podcasting though, so we probably would have beat out Rogan by this point. But anyway, Natalie is not the only person here. We do also have my co-host. He agreed to do this show as part of a Make-A-Wish 20 years ago, and I am still here, fuckers. Jason Strong.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Really didn't see this coming. Really didn't think I was getting this kind of a commitment. You swore it was dick cancer and that you only had weeks to live, and now apparently it's a mosquito bite.
The thing is, once you work that no gives you backsies clause into your wish, man. Right.
Now I'm stuck here.
Now, Jason, we do have a guest, so could you just explain what the show's about?
Yeah, we talk about the
Jason, I just wanted to say that we do often waste a lot of time doing these like intro bits and stuff like that, sure. And I just feel like for the listener, they like when we jump into it. So if you could just explain kind of quickly.
Yeah. We do the weird, wacky, and wild news. Like
mostly like the subject matter of the show and like the tone and stuff like that. I guess is what I'm looking for.
Okay. Well, we do a lot of stuff about cryptids and
Jason
poop
Strong
and
spit on it if you can.
I am really confused. I don't know. Howdy, y'all! Welcome to welcome to the show.
Welcome, indeed. This is Underworld News Tonight, where we talk about the weird, wacky, and wild news of the week. I didn't tell you guys my name. I'm Andrew Michaels, top 0.5% of Green Day fans, according to Spotify. We're going to jump right into it. Natalie, you have listened to the show, apparently. Sorry that happened.
You passed the quiz. Passed the entrance quiz. C, got a C. Respectable.
Man.
Average.
Yeah.
Average, that's true. C's get degrees.
They sure do, man. They sure do.
Can you get a C in a theater class? I only took an improv class.
I have a degree in economics. I have no fucking clue.
Oh, wow.
I made bad life choices. That's how I'm an actor.
You know what? Actually, since you have a degree in economics, that's good. We're actually changing the subject matter of the show. We're doing financial advice mostly now.
I actually decline. I will be doing something else and leaving then. Something cool.
Which actually reminds me of our new product, Andrew and Jason Coin.
Right.
It's not a cryptocurrency.
Yeah. No.
It's not a cryptocurrency. It's a cryptic currency. No, we talk about the weird, wacky, and wild news of the week, and we're not talking today about wind chill or cryptocurrency, things that aren't real. We're talking about something that definitely is. Sasquatch, aka part of the Bigfoot family of beasts. Natalie, what are your thoughts on cryptids and such?
My thoughts on what?
Cryptids, Bigfoot, Mothman, Jersey Devil, that sort of thing.
Bigfoot is the only one out of that list I have ever heard of.
Oh wow.
And are they the same? Are they in the same family? Is this? I need a little more context.
No, first off, if anybody else listening needs context, you should listen to our Halloween special from 2023, the Cryptid Roundup. We talked about the Jersey Devil and other cryptids are claimed wild creatures that live in the wild that are not known but proven by science to exist, but are often sort of the source of sightings. Bigfoot being probably the most famous, aka Sasquatch,
and like the Loch Ness monster.
Oh, Nessie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Familiar.
Right. Yeah.
Nessie, I guess, if you're a fucking weeb for Scotland.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me for using.
Who wouldn't be for Scotland? Of course.
Land of Alan Cumming. Thank you.
If I could be anywhere else but here, it would be Scotland.
Alan Cumming. I'm sorry, Alan. Move over. Comedy's a young man's game, and I am still technically a young man for 2 years, I think. So
I believe that anything can exist. And so if people say they've seen it, I take people at their word. That's my feeling on those things.
Well, wait until you hear about what this retired Canadian scientist encountered at his Manitoba home. This was reported to the most reliable news source I know of, Phantoms and Monsters, Pulse of the Paranormal.
Very reliable.
So
yeah,
100%. And he wrote in his account, a retired Canadian scientist, we're choosing to remain anonymous, living in a small town in Manitoba, encountered 3 separate Bigfoot in his backyard and deck. The description of the female is shocking and interesting. So get ready for this one.
Okay.
Now, I will say, if there are any children in the room, my understanding is we are now part of the Florida State curriculum, if that's correct.
Yeah.
Maybe move this one to sex ed, because it's going to get a little saucy. I'm a retired 24-year veteran from the Canadian Forces. Number 1, sir. Thank you for your service, but when it comes down to it, America versus Canada, I'll see you in hell, motherfucker. And a scientist.
And your dog agrees.
My dog will see
your dog
in hell.
Your dog is chiming agreement in the background.
He's saying USA, USA, USA.
Yeah.
We're
the red-blooded American back there.
Right.
And he's also a scientist. So naturally, he doesn't speak often to people of this experience that happened to him in May of 2018. Just to be clear, I was stone cold sober, and I did not partake in drugs. And I often have to say that for experiences where that's the case for me. All of these dog noises will be edited out in the final version, so you guys don't need to worry.
I think it gives it a certain something.
It does.
Yeah.
Maybe the Bigfoot is here trying to stop me from delivering the story.
That's right. That's true.
Doesn't know how to turn a door handle, though.
Is it now when there are multiple? I just want to circle back to the first part of the article. Is it big feet or multiple Bigfoot?
I think it's multiple Bigfoot because Bigfoot has big feet.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Of course, you're welcome. No, this is all basic science. Any other questions? We prefer the term Sasquatch on this show. Because in my opinion, Sasquatch is more scientific. Bigfoot is more general. I think it's acceptable to use Bigfoot to refer to the category. Like, if you're including Yeti and shit like that, technically its own thing.
So you would say Bigfoot is not a derogatory name for Sasquatch. Bigfoot is just another specification. I just want to make sure I'm getting the terminology.
I would say like humans or mammals. So it would be offensive if like you pointed at me and were like, look at this fucking mammal. But like, it's not like racist.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I just want to, I want to make sure we're all on the same Sasquatch page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you guys are ready to be shocked, amazed, horrified,
yes, please.
aroused, maybe, I don't know, a little hungry, thirsty, maybe. It was on a Tuesday evening in Manitoba, in a town of 2,600 people, about 30 minutes south of Winnipeg. Sure. I noticed what I took to be a man sitting on my back deck, looking away from the kitchen window, checking my backyard. When I approached the window, I began to shout at him, asking what he was doing there. I immediately got a strange feeling that this person had no clue or desire to understand what I was saying. That was when I got a very good look at him. I noticed he was huge and covered in black fur, and black fur that was approximately an inch long from head to toe and massive. He was not an inch tall. His fur is an inch long.
Understood.
I shrunk back from the window and grabbed a big knife from my knife block. And let's give a shout out to Knife Organization here. First off.
Absolutely.
Because all the fucking time, I'm worried if a Bigfoot comes in, and I'm going to be like, where the fuck are my knives? My knife block, I don't have one of those. My drawer, my fucking underwear drawer, my fridge.
Right. Did I leave it in that hitchhiker? Like, it could be anywhere.
Usually it is the case.
My knife could be anywhere. Yeah.
Word of advice from the show, by the way, just don't hitchhike. It's only murderers who are going to pick you up. And don't pick up hitchhikers, because it's only murderers or people who are about to get murdered who you're going to pick up.
I think that's good advice. I didn't realize this was an advice show, but I think that was solid.
Yeah.
We give a lot of great advice on this show. All the time. I think I've given advice a few times. School-age listeners, get in with that. Teacher is going through a divorce, because you got to become the only family they have left.
True. Yeah. That's
solid.
Another
word of advice.
Sorry, let's get back to...
we got to get back to the story.
I thought we were going to describe a female...
Sasquatch sighting? We're going to describe a female... I'm sorry, a woman Sasquatch. That's a bit... we're veering a bit into sexist territory, Jason. I would hate for you to lose all the gains you've made us in the late in broad listening to the show. I think that's the correct term, right?
I think so.
All right, so it was on a Tuesday evening in Manitoba. I already said that shit. My wife had been on the phone when I saw it and told her about it the next day. I sat in the same spot after he silently left, and knowing my height was 6 feet, I stacked books up onto the point where my head had been the previous night. Are you fucking Scrooge McDuck? And estimated his height to be 8.5 feet tall. Of course, I couldn't sleep that night.
Wait, he stacked books?
He stacked
Is that what
books.
you said?
So I think what he did was he looked at the Sasquatch, and then he stacked a bunch of books
to
this is about as tall as it was.
Right. Man.
He didn't tell his wife till the next day.
Right.
He waited.
Like, my wife was on the phone for the whole night.
Right.
He saw a Sasquatch, and he was just like...
So, Natalie, my understanding is, if your partner... Because I know how my wife would react. If you were in the middle of a phone call, and your partner... I guess it's different if your partner's not me. If I told my wife... If I saw a Sasquatch, my wife would want me to wait until she was done on the call she's on.
That's fair. It depends on the kind of call, I guess.
Yeah.
You don't know the call.
I don't know the call. Who am I to judge?
Right.
Usually it's not an important call. It's never like, I saw a Sasquatch and then like fucking my wife found out her uncle died or some shit. So who knows? Then you can't tell it all though, I guess.
Possible to say.
Of course, he couldn't sleep that night.
Right.
I don't know why. He was outside. Sasquatch wasn't in the fucking house. I sleep like a baby every night.
Well, and all that exercise from lugging 8 feet of books out and stacking them and putting them back, that would be, that'd be a solid day. I think you'd be able to go to sleep after that.
I'm going to give my second piece of advice on the show already. If you've seen a Sasquatch tonight and you can't sleep, just drink half a bottle of NyQuil.
The advice is declining.
Yeah.
All right, so anyway, the story continues.
Do not drink a half a bottle of NyQuil. I'm telling you from experience.
Right.
Don't do it. I mean, might make the podcast funnier.
Well, I think they'd be unconscious.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I guess we don't have to even try to be funny.
We should transition to a sleep podcast.
I was wondering, do you think there's a demographic, a podcast market out there of unconscious people? that feels like it'd be a pretty easy market to crack into if you don't have to provide any sort of content.
You may be onto something.
The problem is that my voice sounds like when you turn on your car and it has a problem and you don't know what it is, but you know it's expensive. Mm-hmm. So I just don't think that's going to work. But this story continues. Following evening, 3 a.m., he was sitting in the same spot and another visitor showed up. This time, a young female. Now, this might sound odd to say, but she was about 7.5 feet tall in height, young, and the body of a gymnast with a very attractive human face. I stood up and looked her in the face and immediately turned after a look of shock and vaulted straight off the back deck in one giant leap. I think it said she immediately turned after a look of shock, and bolted straight off the back deck in one giant leap and seemed to make a 90-degree turn in midair and took off like a shot. The only thing I've ever seen move that fast was a black bear in Saskatchewan. So Jason, have you ever been to Canada?
Briefly, yes.
How close was that to 2018?
By about 18 years.
All right. I don't know how sure I am. Jason, can you take your shirt off?
Will I?
Yeah, I just want to check something.
Can I? How about you ask me and I'll report?
The following day in the afternoon, I saw standing on my driveway a massive white-haired one with black roots who was staring across my back lawn with a very annoyed look on his face. Yeah, probably because you were talking about how hot his wife was on the internet.
Disrespectful.
Yeah.
It's not nice. You know what? You never talked about... You know what I would talk about if I saw a lady Sasquatch? I'm trying to get... Know? Yes, I think you do. I would say she's smart. She should be a scientist. Or something that's even more demanding. A podcaster.
How about she can be whatever she wants to be because she's an empowered woman?
She can be whatever she wants to be because she's an empowered woman, but she should major in STEM because I majored in communications, and that's like not a good idea.
You know what? That's fair advice. I will say that is a fair thought.
She can be whatever she wants to be because she's an empowered woman, but anti-Sasquatch racism is going to be a problem, presumably. So, you can break barriers, but there's going to be barriers. That's all I'm saying.
But we support her.
We do support her. I don't know. I don't know what her other views are. I can't unconditionally support her.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, between this dude's sort of leering description of the woman Sasquatch and coupled with the fact that he didn't interrupt his wife's phone call and didn't tell her he had seen the Sasquatches until the next morning. Now I am starting to doubt. I'm thinking he might have kind of a marital issue.
Jason,
but if he's finding Sasquatches, that I don't know.
Are you saying
it just feels
that
off
a member
to me.
of the armed forces has a bad marriage?
Former member. A current would never.
No.
Current would never. That's true.
No.
How would you fight with your wife if you never see her?
Right.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to correct you.
What do you mean if you never see her? This is the Canadian Armed Forces. They're not doing all that much.
That's true.
Just
That's
kidding.
Why...
I just want to be clear. I'm sure they do a lot.
Don't attack. Don't beat us up, members of the Canadian Armed Forces, please.
I think we just assert things on the podcast, and if we're wrong, I am confident someone will tell us.
Yeah, I think mostly Jason says things that are untrue and out of pocket all the time, and I say, Jason, you can't say that. We have a responsibility to provide accurate information to our audience, and you say no.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's what he saw the following day. Massive white-haired one, black roots, staring across his lawn, very annoyed. He stood at the height of the eaves on my back garage, which would make him well over 10 feet tall. Again, I sat down and watched him stride across the width of the backyard and disappear. He moved like a ghost with no bounds to his stride. Very creepy. All right, Jason, I take it back. I know you have bounce to your stride. Yeah. I sat for weeks afterward thinking, my lord, I hope this isn't the habit for them. That was my Canadian accent.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I like that he started with my lord. It's very, who's the son? William Faulkner. It's very Faulkner.
And then he quoted himself saying my word. He was like, I need you to know that I thought my word first.
Right.
Jason, what would you do if you said something like kind of shocking to me and I responded with my lord?
I guess I'd be anticipating a glass of sweet tea or some cornbread with way too much butter or something.
The last time I said my lord was during when India declared independence. One begins to question, this is the member of the Canadian Armed Forces, one begins to question their sanity in these moments, but I knew what I saw, and no one can convince me otherwise. I live a 5-minute walk from the Seine River, presumably the Canadian Seine. I believe what I saw was a family passing through, and that they had to use water to navigate. I don't think it was, because that would require the kid to go first and alone. So it's shitty Sasquatch parenting.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I mean, but we don't know if Sasquatches are good parents. We don't know if that's I'm sure they're not a monolith.
Do you still support this Sasquatch woman now that she's been found basically guilty by the Canadian Military Tribunal of child endangerment? Natalie, I just want to be clear here, because I think she's a bit of a problematic fave.
What I will say is we don't know her situation. I think a lot of times women get blamed for the things that the men are more responsible for. How come the woman is being blamed for child endangerment and not the man?
Right,
That's all I'm going to say.
That's true.
That is all I'm going to say.
Well, to be fair, he said he was close to Winnipeg, so if the Jets were playing that night, yeah, so one begins to question their sanity. He lives a 5-minute walk. He believes it from the Seine River. He believes with a family using water to navigate. After weeks of shaking my head, don't do that for that long, because you're going to fuck up your brain if you shake your head that long.
Brief,
I decided, you shake your head for a bit, but then, keep it on the inside. Yeah. In general, a lot of feelings can go on the inside. Yeah. You
just
can handle more of them. So hold on one second. I definitely didn't accidentally close that story and need to stall. After weeks of shaking my head, I decided to visit the trails to the river and noticed someone had spray painted monkey trails on the side to the entrance. That is the most Canadian fucking vandalism I have ever heard in my life.
Monkey trails.
Got him.
Right, yep.
So did a human spray paint that?
Are they saying also the Sasquatch?
So do the Sasquatch spell? I'm sorry if that's insensitive, but I didn't realize they were speaking English.
That's a good point. And if the Sasquatch do speak English, I mean, maybe Banksy is a Sasquatch woman.
That is a theory that I would buy.
I disagree with the life choice of being British, but I do have to say, it is possible.
I think someone should look into it.
Yeah. So that is, oh no, he's not done with the vandalism that happened in the trail. Sorry about that. There was a structure, sort of like a hunting blind, but the trees had not been cut, but had been twisted and torn from the ground, and were still green. Another had been carefully placed along the trail in a leaning fashion, wedged between two branches, at a height no human could have reached. This is what I say when I see the fucking tall shelf in the grocery store. Right. The strange thing about all these encounters was I had no sense of malice, and in fact, I had the feeling of being privileged. I had experienced their scent and presence. Yeah, no wonder this fucking Sasquatch husband was mad at you. There have been face-to-face encounters.
There are some overtones in this guy's story.
Yeah,
he's wanted to fuck that Sasquatch.
Face encounters since though. Yeah, he definitely wanted to fuck that Sasquatch.
Right. Yeah.
He didn't act on it, and so.
Yeah, he's been posting on misconnections. If you're the Sasquatch that was in my driveway.
And she obviously can read, so
right.
She can read. She can spell at least monkey trail. But I don't know. We don't know what that means in her language. It's the other thing.
Right. Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third piece of life advice for our listeners: if you're listening right now, don't fuck the Sasquatch.
Yeah, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Fuck a frogman instead.
Well, they're a lot more localized though.
Yeah.
Then you have to be in Loveland, Ohio, and I cannot in good conscience recommend anyone do that.
I think we should go to Loveland, Ohio. I think that we need to celebrate the towns that made this country great. Loveland, Ohio.
Right.
Others.
Yes.
Any place with world's largest rock off the highway.
Yeah,
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen I have had so many opportunities growing up in New Jersey to go to the Chester A. Arthur birthplace, and I never have. I want to go to the Chester A. Arthur conception site.
Oh, wow. The conception site.
Yeah.
That was some
back seat of a sick ass horse-drawn carriage.
All right. No, thank you.
Jason, do you have any goofy stories to read us?
And as a matter of fact, I do. Thank you.
Oh, good.
This comes to us from the Lad Bible or Lad Bible. Right. I don't know why I put the in front of it.
The Lad Bible sounds very formal.
Yeah, that may denote a level of professionalism or seriousness that Lad Bible does not warrant.
Yeah.
Anyway,
by the way, the Lad Bible, I just want to be clear, that is not to be confused with the Boy Bible, which you can still rent from the back room of that last remaining Blockbuster.
Okay.
And I would highly recommend it as someone who's bisexual awakening. Very inspiring, that's all I'm saying.
Very good. Passengers left screaming after Tesla detects ghosts in graveyard next to real-life conjuring house. That is a hell of a sentence there.
A lot to unpack.
Right.
Man. You know what I would like Teslas to do? Detect actual fucking people.
Yeah. One can hope. I guess the article starts, and this seems as good a place as any. Do you all remember the movie The Conjuring? Did you see it? Know anything about it?
The one where they clapped, right?
Oh, I don't know.
That is such a
I don't know.
Description of a movie I have ever heard in my fucking life.
Like someone at some point probably clapped.
The kids play a game where they clap around the house with their eyes shut, and then like no one's clapping, but the ghosts are clapping. I saw it in the movie theater, and people would like clap at quiet parts, and it was really fucking annoying because there were too many kids in the movie theater.
I saw The Conjuring 3 in the movie theater with my wife. I haven't seen the first two. And all I remember from The Conjuring 3 is in the first scene, a priest gets KO'd by getting hit in the head by a fucking plate thrown by the ghost.
That sounds sick.
I remember seeing The Conjuring, like just on Netflix or whatever, and remember sort of liking it, but I for the life of me could not tell you what happened in the movie. I think that scary doll was in it. Briefly, Annabelle. That's it. Yeah.
She was in it. It. And they also clapped. No one remembers it, but there was clapping.
No, I believe you.
Thank you.
I believe that there was clapping. I just think it's not like, I mean, I feel like there's clapping in like Saturday Night Fever, you know?
Right.
Well, you took away from movies that you watched what you wanted to take away from them, and I took away what I needed to take away.
Man, when's there going to be a clapping Oscar?
Ugh. I bet there's gonna be. You just wait. I bet before this article ends, they'll mention the clapping.
They're gonna be like that the ghosts all clapped in unison, but one of them was slightly off. It was
Right.
his first time seeing the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on,
Everyone.
Bible. Don't.
All the ghosts stood up and clapped. But the important point from The Conjuring is it's based off of a quote real story of this like pair of paranormal investigators. So this Tesla ghost sighting took place at the house that was the inspiration for the Conjuring movie. All right.
Seems like they didn't do a very good job then.
Oh, I guess you're right. Like the ghosts are still there.
Yeah, right? Like they fucked up. I'm just saying, right? Like,
yeah.
But they're investigators. Is their whole goal to get rid of the ghost, or are they just trying to figure it out?
I don't know what the fuck they got those guns for.
Do they have guns?
Yeah, I don't think they had guns.
I think every once you're a paranormal investigator, I do think you get to open carry, right?
Maybe things are different in your state, but in the state that I live in,
you know, man. Well, that would explain.
I don't think you need any qualifications whatsoever.
Yeah, that would.
I think a lot of places you could just do it
from Taco Bell.
Yeah, amongst other things. Yeah. No, that's a good point. I don't remember enough of the movie to know if they like defeated the ghost.
I just remember the clapping.
The ghost like, but anyway, that's some sick clapping. I should start a clap band.
All right. Anyway, yeah. So Teslas, they have a little heads-up display that has sensors or shows what the sensors on the outside of the car are detecting. Right. So if you're about to back into a tree or a kid, gives you a little warning.
Wait, so no, I want to be clear. So, sorry, Jason, can I issue a correction? If you're about to back into a tree, it gives you a little warning.
Okay. Not the kid.
Yes, that.
Okay, I gotcha. I should. Okay,
Elon Musk was like, if you pick up kids, just keep going.
Right.
We're not putting that feature in the car.
No. Mm-mm.
It detects their emerald mining capability, and then it decides whether or not to save them.
Right. Yes, it does a quick calculation.
Hand size.
Yeah. Useful. All right, I'll qualify it with ideally the sensors pick up obstacles around the car. So yeah, these folks in their Tesla driving by the house. There was the inspiration for the movie The Conjuring. Picked up the Tesla sensors, started picking up human figures around the car where the passengers could see nobody. And they appeered to be converging on the car. So the ghosts were moving towards the car, and there were more and more of them headed toward, like they were all headed towards the car.
Okay, cool.
So they're coming from different areas and then but making their way to the car.
Okay. Man, imagine fucking like the only thing worse than ghosts is a bunch of them coming out and being like, "Oh, you're gonna want to be a little to the left if you're gonna parallel park here," shit like that, you know.
Honestly, helpful.
Yeah.
Wait, so does Tesla automatically, does it record the videos? Like, how come we can't get video? Is there video evidence of this?
There is a video. Yes.
Yeah, the audience, and link to that in the show notes.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, yes. So we will share that.
The audience doesn't like when we play video at the podcast because it turns out auditory medium.
Yes, there is. Thank you. There is absolutely a video. It will be shared for everyone's perusal, but it's video of the screen, right? So it's you can clearly see human figures, but it doesn't show what's actually outside the car.
Oh, so no one got their phone out and was like,
and
hey,
filmed
crazy.
Right. Right. I don't believe that's what it is, but it could be. And yeah, that's it. The story ends there. You can the farmhouse is in Rhode Island. People go there, obviously, to try to find ghosts. So if you want to go find ghosts, I guess go there in a Tesla. and see some ghosts. Maybe
get your phone out.
Yes, please
tape it. Corroborate.
Yes, if you could get the ghost to sign an affidavit.
Yeah.
I think that I would be excited in this situation personally, because for me, you guys know, comedian, I do stand up, and a hostile audience is a really good opportunity to workshop.
Yeah.
So I do think that this would be great for me personally.
And the ghosts you consider the hostile audience?
I would say so. Yeah, I don't think they're necessarily going to appreciate some of my jokes. Depending on the direction I go in. So I'll have to kind of play things around. They won't necessarily appreciate. I would say my attitude is a bit lackadaisical. Maybe I'm a bit too cheeky for their time.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on where what era the ghosts are from.
It's true. I think some of the references aren't going to read. Like, 'cause if they did die in like 1600, I do have,
they're not going to.
My joke about will we still drink Arnold Palmer the drink if Arnold Palmer the golfer did 9/11 probably wouldn't read to them.
Yeah, wouldn't land. Yeah, but they would be rolling in the aisles over some Black Plague jokes.
Oh, I got some good ones.
Yeah.
Do you? Please.
No, I do not.
I'd love.
I said that. Like, oh shit, they're gonna ask for them. No, I don't. I do not have any Black Plague jokes.
That's really counting out a demographic. But sorry, Jason, continue.
No, reading the story, I don't know if you guys have had this experience, but right around the time when like my friend group got their driver's licenses, we would all pile into someone's shitty car at 3 a.m. and drive out to like spooky roads and, the sort of urban legends about, if you come here at night and honk your horn 3 times, a headless ghost appears. And like, I was super into that shit as like a late teenager. Was that something
I didn't have friends to do that with? I was reading monologue books.
I was totally into it. We had an old train track in my hometown that a train used to run there, but it doesn't anymore. And so we would go, and one of us would be like, "I think I heard a train." And
right.
Kid, I grew up in the Thousand Islands, so there's like a river that runs through it, and there's a part that used to be the river, but it's now like a football field. And I guess a kid drowned there before it became a football field, and we'd be like, which is probably really disrespectful.
But it was a long time trip over the spot right as they're about to score a touchdown. Right. That's the sad thing.
Yeah. Ooh. So we were like Ouija boards, all the shit.
Yeah. No, that's that's just something I hadn't thought about in a while. But presumably these people in their Teslas were doing that, and can't fault
them.
I
mean, I used to be really terrified of like ghosts and shit. Like all that stuff used to scare me a lot. I mean, I do. I mean, I still like. I mean, when I was like a little kid, I definitely had experiences that kind of fall into that like I know what I saw category, which is kind of why I started this show. But like as a whole, like I do think that like there are things out there in in certain places. I just don't think the stupid fucking Tesla can detect them.
Oh, right. Well, as we've been joking about, it can't detect things that are there.
Exactly.
So why are we believing it when it picks up things that aren't?
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Why would the ghosts choose to present themselves to people in a car as opposed to when they're out of the car?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know why I said that as if it was a deep statement. It wasn't that deep. It doesn't make sense.
No, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
What would they gain from that? Being like,
from the
like I'm behind you, like.
Or is it okay? Is this maybe this Tesla owner? This is going to be a stretch. Might be a bit of an asshole, and.
I'm sorry, what? This Tesla owner who submits to Lad Bible is a bit of an asshole? Is that what you're fucking telling me? On my podcast.
And what he's implying by, oh no, look at these scary ghosts all coming around my car, is that the ghosts are coming to gawk at his nice Tesla.
Man, I wish some ghosts would compliment my Honda Fit.
Yeah.
No ghost has ever complimented my Ford Focus.
That's fair.
Yeah, I can't think of.
Sorry, we do have.
I don't have a lot of automobile related ghosts.
Yeah, we do have some male 60+ listeners, so I do need to say, Ford, what does that stand for? Fix or repair daily?
Oh.
Man,
got him.
That's a good job. We got him for sure.
That's
Thanks,
a good,
guys.
yeah. From the 1970s.
It's a good one for sure.
But they're not wrong. My Ford got shit wrong with it all the time.
They're
I love my car, but
right.
you know, I do have to fix it.
Here's another joke for those listeners: Watergate, hardly Knowergate. Anyway, guys, we are going to be right back. Please listen to the next 30 seconds or so, because you're going to hear from another great podcast that you're going to really like, and then we'll be right back to talk to Natalie some more, get 2 more fun stories.
Hello, my future creeps and creepettes.
Hey guys.
I'm Tanner.
And I'm Amanda.
And we are Reapers Creepers.
We cover all things spooky, including cryptids, urban legends, hauntings, dark history, and folklore, between what we think is witty banter.
New episodes drop every other Monday. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Hope to see you there.
Bye, guys.
Yeah. Wills, they're all kind of the same. Anyway, welcome back to Underworld News Tonight. I'm Andrew Michaels. I'm here with Jason Strong, and we're here with Natalie Reff. Natalie, what's your fucking deal and shit? What do you do?
Nothing. No, I'm an actor. I'm a voiceover artist. I'm a comedian. I make shit that I like to make, and sometimes people watch it, and most of the time they don't. I make comedy music. You can check that out. Is this the plugging section? Is this you telling me to plug myself?
And all this stuff is linked in the show notes, by the way.
Hey. Right. Go to my website, nataliereff.com. And I've got some comedy music videos. Follow me on Instagram at Natalie Reff. Very original. Yeah, I do a lot of voiceover work. I am the voice of a lot of discount brands. So that pays my bills. Grateful for that. I do some theater,
Yeah.
I'm a little all over the place. I wish I did one thing really well, but I do a lot of things okay.
I mean, I think a lot of people are kind of like, I've kind of always been kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none type, I feel like.
Yeah, the multi-hyphenate is a little more accepted now, I think, than it was. You used to have to just pick one thing, and I've never been good at that.
You do more things better than I do.
I agree. No, I'm just kidding.
I do comedy, and I make pretty good eggs.
That is an underrated skill, because eggs are the most versatile food.
It's true.
There are so many ways you can make eggs.
That's true.
Yeah. No, I am a big proponent of eggs.
I'm 100%. But no, I mean, Natalie's super talented. We met, fuck's sake, 13 years ago, right?
Crazy. At theater camp.
In
we were very cool.
We were very cool. We were extremely cool in theater camp in Oswego, New York. It was a 2-week camp that doesn't exist anymore. I don't know.
Does it not exist?
I think they weren't doing it the summer after. Maybe it exists again now, but it didn't exist the summer after. So I wanted to go back because it was going to be the summer between my junior and senior year, and I feel like I learned a lot about acting.
I went for 3 years. The summer I went with you was my 3rd year. That's very sad that it ended.
But yeah,
Can I ask? Because I actually have never didn't go to any camp as a kid. I worked as a camp counselor.
And you didn't even know shit about what those kids were going through? Is that what you're saying? You couldn't fucking connect to them
no idea
about their struggle? You're the fucking reason, Jason. I'm sorry that so many youth are struggling in this country.
No.
I'm sorry, Natalie, that you have to hear from this pathetic, worming excuse of a man and a role model.
I appreciate your sensitivity to my feelings, Andrew.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We artists are very sensitive.
We're very sensitive.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. And thank you for the constructive feedback that you just gave
You're
me.
Welcome. I like to build you up.
Right. That's what I was going to ask. What does a theater camp entail?
Well, you should bring up. We brought up before we got on about our trip to the Renaissance Fair.
Oh yes, so theater camp we did a bunch of things. We learned kind of like all different parts of theater. But at one point, I think it was under the like vague guise of learning about improv. Which is, for instance, if you like just spilled a beer in the middle of a podcast recording and you just have to pretend you don't or something like that. So in a case like that, we went to this theater camp, this Renaissance Fair, and it was like to teach us about improv. But there was very much a tone there of like, this is, if you guys major in theater, this is what you'll really be doing. Like, just so you know. This is like the best case scenario. We went around. We saw a Shakespeare play. They had axe throwing and ninja stars. I told you guys a story about how I thought they were fucking stupid because ninja stars were so much cheaper and cooler, in my opinion. And then we
to be fair though, be fair, it was a pretty fucking cool Renaissance fair in terms of all the people who lived there. Because I've been to other Renaissance fairs where like they're just like actors that come. These people live there, they learn the dialect, and they're like live improvising. They have like actual characters who have real relationships for like the whole summer. Which is pretty cool. I've been to some where they just like dress up and are like, "Hey."
Right.
It is great that they let them pretend to have a real family.
Fancy a turkey leg, my lord.
Oh my god.
Sometimes they're allowed to have kids, but they are technically property of the fair.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, at the end of the summer, they must return them.
No, I mean, but the whole thing is like we're learning a bit of everything. So we did. I mean, I really liked acting as a kid, and then that kind of transitioned into me really liking comedy. And then a lot of people were really good at singing and dancing. Dancing people are fucking intense. We had a dancing instructor at that camp who was like really intense. I don't think she was actually that intense once you guys know her, but she like made a show of being very intense at the start, right? You remember this?
Yeah, she started hot. I had known her from the year before, so it was a little. I knew she was softer than her exterior.
Yeah.
No, it was like there were acting classes and singing classes and dance classes, and different people came. Andrew didn't consider himself a singer, but sang a beautiful rendition of "Yesterday" by the Beatles.
It was incredible. I have a voice that has been known to make grown men cry.
No.
Usually in the trauma ward, but I sang. Can I? Do you want me to sing now? Is that what you're asking? Okay.
No, I was going to say stick around. I was going to say stick around. After the end of the podcast, we're going to make Andrew sing what is it? Yesterday in its entirety.
Yeah, I could sing it and edit it onto the end as our outro music. See where exactly people stop when I look at the stats. Can I tell the hypnotist story, or do you think people will be mad? I don't think anyone will be mad this long later if I tell the hypnotist story.
I don't think they'll be mad. No.
All right, so at the Renaissance Fair, there was a hypnotist. I'm immune to hypnosis. The best hypnotists that have worked at Renaissance fairs and or New Jersey high school graduations have tried on me. High school graduation after parties mandated by the town to stop you from drunk driving after graduation.
Right, yeah.
They've tried on me.
Yeah.
And they have failed. So I'm immune. My brain's a lockbox. Yeah.
Yeah.
But some people were not immune. One of whom. And you couldn't say at the time that this was somebody being dramatic because they were a theater kid. In retrospect, you probably can. Somebody, a male, went up and they, as a joke, was like, we're gonna pretend you're pregnant, and then we're gonna pretend you have the baby, then we're gonna pretend you're like holding the baby, and it was like kind of like a funny thing, and then the hypnosis ends, and it was like funny, and it's like we get that but like then he kind of pretended that he was like still affected by it a day later, and I'm like, no man, you're not. I also don't think stage hypnosis is real at all.
No.
Like, I do think it's like how willing you are to pretend it's happening.
Right.
Now listen.
Although I will say I've seen a hypnotist though. There was a girl the one came to my high school, and a really, really shy girl, like truly shy. All of a sudden was doing some weird shit, and I was like, oh, I actually think something might be happening here. Because this girl, like, I don't even know if she knew it. She probably wouldn't have gone up on the stage if she had known she would have to be singled out. painfully shy.
Right.
So sometimes.
But then what did she do?
But this was definitely not that.
Yeah.
She pretended she was
what did she do? Because you said she was painfully shy, and then you didn't say what happened after that.
Oh, she just did some weird shit. She like pretended she was a squid and was like walking around the stage like a squid.
Man.
This is a lot. This is like 15 years ago.
And that girl's name? Jeff Dunham.
How did you know?
Yeah, no, Natalie was actually held back a number of years in high school, which is why we went to that theater camp together.
A lot of Botox. I look, you can't see, this is an auditory. What do you call it? Audio medium? What do you keep saying?
Auditory medium, I keep saying.
Auditory medium.
Yeah.
Know that I look so much younger than I am, audience. So much younger.
Too much younger, actually. You would accuse us of child labor.
You're too kind.
If you've ever seen The Boss Baby, it's kind of what's going on right now.
Right.
Alex.
So this person like pretended they gave birth and stuff like that, and then like, I mean, I don't think they were like kind of pretend, like if they were an adult, I don't think they would have done this. They're like kind of pretending to have like fucking like postpartum depression and shit. You're like, come on, man.
Yeah, it got weird.
Really?
Yeah.
You get a bunch of theater kids together. I'm sorry. You get a bunch of theater kids together for 2 weeks. You hop them up on, they're drinking soda every day. They're like,
because none of us did anything. We didn't even drink beer and shit.
No. We were very safe. We were very, innocent.
We were all good kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, like, we had one person, trying to, like, avoid using anyone's names, so I don't know what people are up to now. We had one person who was, like, in a military family and, like, kind of religious, and then we had, like, other people who had different situations. There's one person who I pull up pictures, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? I
have no idea who you're talking about.
There's one guy that I roomed with who was super cool, and then there was another guy who went to the camp who was not seemingly super cool, and then there was me, kind of in the middle. But I thought it was a good experience because our audience might not know this, but I switched from wrestling to theater between my freshman and sophomore year of high school. And it was like I didn't really fit in either crowd. It was like kind of like you're too sensitive for the wrestling crowd and you're too like brony and aggressive for the theater crowd. And then you end up kind of like in theater camp and you kind of learn a way to fit in, learn a way to work things, kind of blossoms into your own. Speaking of which, I should pull up the third story. Unless we have more to talk about as it relates to theater camp. You guys should go. If you're 28, just fucking lie about your age, honestly. You probably have a high-pitched voice like this.
They should have an adult theater camp. I think it would attract the most insufferable people. But
they almost certainly have to, right?
They do have improv. They have adult improv summer camps you can go to.
Man, that's crazy. They should teach them how to be funny instead.
I know there's guitar camps for like middle-aged guys, and they'll go and the guitar player for Bon Jovi will be an instructor there, so you spend a week getting like drunk.
New Jersey Lezzet. Like, I actually don't know the guitar player from Bon Jovi's name. I only know Bon
Richie
Jovi and Richie Sambora. Richie Sambora is the keyboardist. You fuck.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know.
I know he has a rest stop named after him in New Jersey now. The whole reason I started this show.
The New Jersey pride coming strong from Andrew.
Yeah, man.
Right. Yeah.
Can't relate. I'm from New York. We feel superior.
You're from New York. Let's. Where in New York, though? Because if you say I'm from New York, I think people make assumptions.
Oh, I would be very clear. I'm not from New York City. I lived in New York City for a long time. I am not from New York City. I am from the Canadian border of New York. The Thousand Islands.
I definitely grew up closer to New York City than you.
You definitely grew up closer to New York City than I did.
Yeah. The Big Apple, they call it that because everyone thinks they can take a bite, but I'll tell you something. Not everyone can handle it. It's a tough town. Speaking of which, this did not happen in New York. I don't think the story actually says where it happened. This is from consequence.net. A black metal band. I don't know if anyone here is .net. I don't know if anyone here is a metal fan.
Yeah. I like it fine.
I'm more into the alloys, but...
Yeah.
Okay, so the difference between the types of metal, just for our audience, Natalie did encourage my vocal ability, I want to be clear. Death metal, that's kind of known as a Cookie Monster vocals, that's when it goes like... And then black metal, that's more the screeching vocals, that's when it goes like...
Got it.
If that makes sense.
Okay.
Are there only the two variations? Forgive me.
No, there's also melodic power metal, which goes like.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm most familiar with that. Okay, solid.
Solid. That's more. Yeah, that's more my jam.
Yeah. And then there's hair metal. You can look. You can, for more information on that, you can look into Jason's band of the from the '80s, Beaver Creek Bad Boys.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
a lot of
covers.
But this was a black metal band by the name of Martyrdom. Rejected name for this podcast.
Remind us the sound of black metal.
Sure.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
By the name of Martyrdom has apologized. That Martyrdom, by the way, best known for a song that goes like.
Sure.
Has apologized.
I feel like I've heard that before.
Thank you. After a severed pig's head was tossed around at the recent show. The incident happened Friday night, January 19th, at the White Swan in Houston, Texas, where the bands Devoured Trachea and Accosted were headlining. Devoured Trachea, that's not a good name. I don't think, like, there are, like, names that are good. How? There's no protein in the trachea. What are you fucking getting from devouring the trachea?
Yeah, but it's just is a means of transport. It's not even a real thing.
Yeah, how are you eating that? Why are you eating that?
I think it just sounds super gross.
If you're gonna be a cannibal,
for precisely these reasons.
No, for sure. But what I'm saying is, like, I listen. I understand cannibalism, efficient cannibalism.
Do you understand cannibalism? Please, expand
on that. I don't condone it. Listen. My
Mm-hmm.
wife gets to eat me if we're ever trapped in that sort of a situation. We've agreed.
Okay.
I won't go below a certain BMI to make sure that if we're trapped in that situation, my wife has something to snack upon and it's not too tough.
Chivalry isn't dead, ladies. Chivalry isn't dead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, if you have to survive, you're not getting any fucking nutrients out of the trachea. Devoured Trachea. I bet I could come up with a better metal band name. How about
do it? Okay. What is it?
Playing guitar and drums with my buddies.
And
I think
would you say that's black metal or?
Yes, I would. I would say because that's really the most metal thing of all is having friends and admitting to your friends, being able to look your friends in the eye as a man and say I love you. Maybe that's the most metal thing of all.
I think you should maybe try country music.
I think I would be good at that too. I do have, according to Spotify, the most similar music taste to Bozeman, Montana. It's that Green Day Waylon Jennings crossover.
Yep.
I often do. Man of the People, Andrew Michaels. So this incident happened at that show with Devoured Trachea and Accosted. Video footage shared on social media shows the head being thrown toward the back of the audience, with at least one concert goer exclaiming, and I quote, "Gross."
I'm glad they quoted the concert goer because it really does paint a picture.
Me too.
Right. Sorry. Continue.
No, you asked your question. Sorry, Jason.
I was going to say, where did the head come from?
A pig.
No. I understand ultimately where it came from. How did it get to be in the venue?
Presumably it was removed from the pig in some way and then transported to the venue.
So was the pig head transported sans body? Or was the body there as well and the pig's head just made its way onto the stage? I feel like these are important details.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about this venue, because does this venue serve food?
Oh.
Right? Because if this venue serves food and they're real farm to table, I mean, you live in LA, right? Like, is it inconceivable to you in LA? I live in middle America, they don't do shit like this. But in LA, would it be inconceivable that there is a venue that they're bringing a pig, killing a pig, butchering the pig, serving the pig, and they have concerts?
Oh, 100%. People would eat that shit up. Literally, they would eat that shit up at a restaurant. But this wasn't in LA, was it?
No, it was Houston, Texas.
Houston, but Houston's
they don't play
like
that.
Right.
Houston Mike's, that's not like Texas. That's like kind of like hipster Texas, though.
I thought that was Austin.
I think aren't Austin and Houston
actually
it's more
the
same
so
thing?
No.
They're like, it's made up, right? No. Like, most of Texas is a lot smaller than people say, and they just flipped the sign for Austin and Houston around when visitors come.
Isn't Texas the same size as France?
That sounds right.
She's a big state.
Yeah. Worst cheeks, yes, probably.
Yeah. But anyway, they saw some backlash on the Sun from social media from those in the vegan community. So, like I said, hipster Texas, and other individuals who were simply grossed out.
There are vegans in Texas. That's the real storyline.
In Houston, there are vegans.
In Houston, right? Hipster. I'm sorry, I missed.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Personally, I've never been to Texas. I do think they would like me. Actually, I think I could get along in Texas.
I think you'd do well. I've been to Texas a few times.
Yeah.
I think I would. I think within 6 months, I would be lieutenant governor responsible for some of the worst human rights violations.
That says more about you than Texas.
Right.
I'll just do anything for the clout.
That checks out. You know what? Yeah. I empower you to do what you'd like to do. You know, go for your dreams. Shoot for the stars.
We empower the two most marginalized groups on this show: Bigfoot women and me.
Oh, wow.
The superlative titles, really. The most marginalized.
Exactly. Yeah.
People say all the time, Andrew, your jokes are bad, your voice is bad, your brain is bad, your vibes in general, social odor is rancid. There's something about you that's corrosive deeply in an interpersonal sense.
I feel like I've heard that, about you.
Yeah, yeah, they said that to me in the first fucking day when they introduced us all at theater camp. And then I say, nah.
Back at theater camp, you weren't as much of a speaker, though. There was just a nod. You were like,
yeah, I said, that's right.
I just nodded for the listeners.
She did just nod. Well, she actually just shook her head no, kind of. So
like a no nod. What do you call that?
Yeah.
A head shake?
I think that's called shaking your head no.
Got it. A bad nod, a negative nod.
Yeah. The anti-nod. So, this is the statement they issued via Lambgoat. Hi, everyone. We just want to start off by saying we are incredibly sorry to anyone we offended with our actions and gimmicks on stage. We are a black metal band, and as part of it, we try to add a little imagery and shock value to our set. Unfortunately, our acts had gotten carried away and way out of hand, offending many and even harming some. We want to apologize to vegans. The pig was probably all right. You know, it's not a good life for a pig in this country. We keep saying it's the pig some. What do you think was going to happen to this pig? It was going to start a fucking pig family?
Right. It could have. I
mean, maybe. Yeah.
What Texas
do you know
pig?
The part? I'm sorry. The part of the brain on the pig that has personality is larger than that of a dog, and pigs have goals and aspirations. That's an
Natalie, you misunderstand what I'm saying. I agree with you. What I'm asking is, what was the life going to be of this Texas pig, if not for this black metal band?
Now, how do you know that pig was Texan?
I do not think they were I do not think a black metal band playing the White Swan in Houston has the budget to transport a pig across state lines. I think it's very cheap to get a Texas pig.
I think that us justifying horrific acts against living beings that, quote, weren't going to have a good life anyway is maybe not the hill that this podcast should.
Yeah, kind of a bad look at it. I agree.
We shouldn't be taking here.
Oh, wow.
This feels like it could be used to justify things beyond lobbed pig heads at death metal shows. Excuse me, black metal. You're very clear about
black metal. I just want to be very clear here. So because that's what we actually can't condone as being wrong. So I'm going to, again, death metal. Black metal.
Right.
And we're listening to the raw, not the
Yeah, we're listening to the.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, okay, so also, though, I guess I didn't realize they had brought the pig's head.
Right.
I
Right.
thought
That's what I was
we didn't
saying.
know how this head had gotten tossed around on stage, but to know that
Right.
they brought it themselves, I did no pity for them. No pity.
Yeah.
You've brought
Yeah.
this upon yourself.
I mean, I don't feel bad for the band. I'm just saying I don't think the band, you know, like I'm saying we're not living in a country where a pig's life is worth much. And I don't necessarily think that saying, like, this pig would be alive and flourishing if not for this band is accurate. I'm saying that we need to confront the systemic issue at the core of it. You know what? Here's what it comes back to me.
All right.
Barry Bonds.
Please tell us.
Barry Bonds.
Who?
Okay.
Did nothing. Barry Bonds was a baseball player during the steroid era. Who was like the biggest steroid player who was like, if you made a steroid joke in baseball, it was a Barry Bonds joke, because it was like, you could look at his rookie card and you could look at his card from like 2005 and his head like quadrupled in size and shit like that.
I now will be able to laugh at steroid jokes, sports jokes.
Yeah, totally. But Barry Bonds was like blamed for the steroid problem. But the baseball leagues were like, the MLB was selling all these home run derbies, and they were like, you know, we know exactly, like, we want, like, they knew how these home run numbers were getting more and more ridiculous each season. They didn't necessarily say you should take steroids, but they knew what was making the money in the 80s and 90s and how it was happening, right?
Okay.
Black metal bands, you know, like the whole metal industry and concert industry and the whole American food industry. I'm a Jew. I'm innocent. They want to kill these fucking pigs.
Okay, I'm gonna pause you right there. I think it's a pretty far jump to say Barry Bonds taking drugs and then getting blamed for the whole systemic issue of drugs is the same as a band choosing to behead a pig, throw its head around.
They don't know if they beheaded the pig.
How did that pig get beheaded? You think they just found a pig head?
Probably a fucking farmer. They probably shot the pig and then cut the head off. The farmer shot the pig. That's beheading. And then they were like, okay, no, so here's what... All right, if you shot me in the head and then you cut my head off, it's not beheading, it's desecrating a corpse.
Okay, so we're gonna get semantical here. We're gonna go into semantic. I think it's less
bad. I think it's... So here's what
you think it's less
happened.
Bad?
I would rather be shot in the fucking head with, like, the bolt they kill pigs with than beheaded with the guillotine like Marie Antoinette.
Did you
kill Napoleon?
Pigs? I have not.
Watch what the world will do to stop a short man with ambition.
Are you calling these pigs short men with ambition?
I'm calling me a short man with ambition.
Oh, okay.
But I've not gotten taller since theater camp.
I believe that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is this. Here's what probably happened, if we're just to be realistic for a second. Farmer kills a pig. We don't eat any part of in the U.S., we don't eat any part of the pig head. Even if you go to, like, international supermarkets, they'll sell, like, pig knuckles and shit, but they're not going to sell pig head. So they probably killed the pig. If it was not a pig that was going for, like, a pig roast, they processed the body.
Heads. I'm sorry. I think they cut off the pieces of the pig head that are usable, and I think they turn them into, like, hot dogs and shit. They cut off all the usable pieces,
so
and then
what I'm saying is they probably contacted a farmer and were like, give us a pig head, like, we'll buy it, because you have it as byproduct. You're gonna chop it up.
So they made a conscious choice. They said, there's a pig head and I want it to throw it around on the stage.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's okay because the pig was already dead.
The farmer has the pig head anyway. Yeah, the pig's already dead.
I want to say, if I'm already dead, I don't give you permission to throw my head around a stage. I'm just putting that out there for anyone.
We are working on our Patreon, and that is going to be a tier. We're starting with Jason's head.
Oh, what?
Yeah, we're starting with Jason's
he's already dead, though.
I thought we talked about it. Okay.
It's not because your head is less valuable than mine. It's just because you're going to die first.
That's probably fair. Yeah.
Yes, they've issued their apology. I don't think, I think that beyond health code, I don't think they did anything wrong. I think you go to an extreme metal concert, you expect shit like this, and I think that there is a meat industry. They probably bought a head that was part of a farmer's byproduct that was going to be converted. Probably not even to hot dogs. Once you're at the head, because there's very little usable meat, it becomes gelatin. So, like,
pig
I
tongue
really don't
is
think that...
a delicacy.
If
I love
Anthony
beef tongue is delicious.
Beef tongue is. I mean, I'm a vegetarian now, but I had it in the past.
If Anthony Bourdain is to be believed, the pig's head is the best part.
Is that true?
Like that's sort of a secret among chefs that they'll cook it up and
man.
I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Are you sure
that's not a line that Anthony Bourdain says on fucking Food Network or whatever?
To make chefs seem like more mysterious, or
I think you know what
make it seem like more of a
I think a secret among chefs is their drinking problems that they hide from their families.
Is that a secret?
I was gonna say I don't think
it's not. Yeah, that's true. No, that's bad material.
Is this? Well, now I'm curious because this was in the 70s and 80s. You would hear the sort of urban legends about Ozzy Osbourne biting the heads off bats, or
no, the Ozzy Osbourne backstory is true, but he didn't do it on purpose.
Right. But then there were other this such and such a band wouldn't start until someone murdered the cat they threw into the. But basically tying heavy metal music to these sorts of
murder,
violence, right? Yeah. Is this something? I guess that. Is this still
I've never
going
heard
on,
of
or
not starting a concert until you throw? I think that today I don't think anyone's throwing in cats. They think
well, I don't think it ever really happens. But
I mean, at least my experience is kind of that stereotype. The people who like the most extreme and aggressive music are usually the sweetest people you'll ever meet.
Right. No, that's what
Sometimes
I was.
Sometimes there are assholes. There's assholes everywhere, but
sure. No, I guess I didn't know that people were still bands were still doing this kind of weird and goofy shit. The venue certainly can't be thrilled about throwing around. That's why I'm wondering
raw
if they
pork. Who had to clean it up? Honestly,
right,
the janitors. I hope that they got hazard pay because there's so many diseases.
To, not the vegans.
We really,
right?
Yeah,
right.
It's true. It's true. I feel and the pig. I would say it's pretty disrespectful to throw the head of the pig around, even if it was already dead. It gave its body
if I was being killed, as opposed to fucking it's. But here's the thing: the pig is dead to be turned into sausages.
Yeah,
right. If my body is being turned into sausages, which I understand, because I do think I would be pretty tasty. I think I'm a pretty good. I look at the mixture of my ground beef, and I look at me, and I'm this is probably about the same.
I do too. Actually, that's I just think yum.
I give any metal listeners in the audience, and this podcast, as we all know, is a legally binding living will, to throw my head around at a metal concert if you're not one of the weird Nazi bands who wants to
I think that's fair. Head. I think that's fair. No one has permission, and I think I'd be a little gamey if I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, I don't think that. Yeah, I think that you're I think that when it's the cannibalism situation where you're stuck with the Argentinian rugby team and they have to eat you, it's going to be a bummer. They're going to be oh man, this is a fucking rough diet. It's dry.
I'm not that durable, so I'd probably be one of the first to die, and they'd be you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
I just cannot imagine how good the music would have to be for me to stick around to hear a band after they throw dead animal parts into the crowd.
Well, if you
it has to be some primo fucking music.
You got to do all that though. You're probably not that good. If the music was that good, they wouldn't have to be thrown around the fucking pig's head.
That's a good point. No, that's a good point. Yeah.
I don't know if that's true though. A lot of bands have a lot of showmanship and are still good. I'm going to push back on that. I think
there's a difference between showmanship. I just think there's a difference between showmanship and something done like an explosive. I don't know. It's not showmanship. It's shock factor. That's the word I'm looking for.
Right.
Shock factor.
Like Jimmy Buffett was an enormous musician. Enormously
I would have loved if Jimmy Buffett threw
he did not throw
into the crowd during Margaritaville.
He wasn't. He wasn't throwing dead parrots out.
The only one who could do it.
If he one day performed Cheeseburger in Paradise as Bacon Cheeseburger in Paradise and threw the pig head out.
Look, any billionaire, he was a billionaire. Any billionaire wouldn't put them past any kind of horrific act.
I guess that's true.
I ate at a Margaritaville once.
I'm really struggling to remember if I ever have.
I'm sure it was mediocre.
It was fine.
Yeah, that's what I would expect.
I mostly like told my then 5-year-old stepbrother to like chill out when we go to the bathroom and stuff.
That sounds like a Margaritaville. You're like, hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah. It was a lunch spent taking my little stepbrother, who's now much older, to the bathroom, standing guard to make sure he doesn't get molested, and feeling like I'm protecting my family.
Yeah, you were wasting away there.
In Margaritaville.
Thank you.
Very good.
Rest
Very good.
in
Very good.
peace. Jason,
okay.
Can you take us home?
Oh, I can. This story comes from Sky News. I'm not going to start with the headline, because the headline sort of spoils the story.
It's like, because it's like jazz, guys. We've mastered the rules so we can break them.
Exactly so. That's exactly right. It's all about the stories you don't read. Let me make sure. Okay, this is in Florida. Police were told a murder had taken place and that someone was, quote, looking in the road, cleaning the blood off the ground and searching for shells, while another caller said the suspect had dragged a body across the road, put it in his car, and left. This ended up in the arrest of a dude named Travis McBride in Dellland, Florida, having been accused of killing 51-year-old Clinton Dorsey, putting his body in the car, cleaning it up afterwards. According to court documents, the victim was supposedly an unhoused person who lived in the neighborhood, and they had confrontations before dude finally did him in. The murderer under arrest is an anger management therapist.
Okay, that's not good. It's not good.
No.
But can I ask this?
Bad pass.
Yeah.
Is he less upset now?
I suspect he's probably quite a bit less angry and probably a lot more scared, worried about
results, Jason, you cannot disagree with scientifically proven results. This is what got us in trouble last week.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Next week, all the anger management people will be in the comments.
We're going to be right.
Actually.
Yeah.
The goal is to not.
Yeah.
The anger management community.
Yeah. The place, the firm that he works for, has McBride listed as an anger management specialist, expert in post-traumatic stress disorder, bipolar disorder, anxiety disorders, depression, and sleep problems. Yeah. So I'm pull back the curtain a little bit. I'm in a master's degree program for kind of social.
Can I ask a question about that?
Please.
So, like,
how many people have I killed?
No, like what I was going to ask was more so like, how many homeless people should I kill if I'm having trouble sleeping?
The current recommendations are 0. You don't kill anyone if you're having trouble sleeping. Maybe stack books in the yard.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
To
getting those squats.
Right.
But if you do kill someone and you're having trouble sleeping after, get in your Tesla and work it out with them, you know?
That's true. And
that's true.
I don't think anyone, whenever I meet a Vietnam vet, they sleep great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how many Vietnam vets do you typically interact with?
When I'm visiting my grandma at the nursing home, a lot, but they're all leaving her room in quick succession.
No, yeah, it's kind of obviously a horrible story. Someone, I don't think we've ever covered a murder.
We've usually not.
Not
it's
directly.
The first murder we've ever covered. Nor indirectly. Yeah. What do you mean not directly? What if we indirectly covered a murder?
Well, we talk about like ghosts all the time.
Oh yeah, I guess. If you die over 100
they got
years
that way
ago,
somehow. Right.
Yeah, I guess. If you died over 100 years ago, though, like, I don't know. Get over it.
Yeah.
If you're holding on to it, maybe you should go to this man's firm and learn a little bit about anger management.
That's true.
Because if you can't let it go 100 years...
Most anger management therapists hate this one easy trick.
You know,
easy is a strong word.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how easy.
Not necessarily hard, but
right.
Yeah. I guess it depends.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Fucked up situation. And obviously, the fact that dude was out like cleaning this up, kind of hard to, I don't know. I guess I was trying to understand, like, if it was the heat of passion, or if it was like something planned beforehand, and I don't know what difference that would make, to be honest with you. It just seems, I don't know.
Well,
I'm going to say this.
Don't go to therapy, I guess. Yeah.
I'm against
it.
Okay. If you're listening to this show right now and you are about to kill a homeless man, knock it off.
Good advice. Solid advice. No,
right.
That is really, that is heartbreaking, but I think most people who want to like work in a field have that issue. Like if you're someone who's trying to help other people with anger management, you probably got some shit going on.
Probably. Yeah. I think that's fair.
That's true. Because if somebody's like, I am not a person who gets angry very easily, not very good at anger management.
Exactly. Why would you even think about it?
Well, right.
That's the good thing. That's the good thing about comedy, though, is because comedians, we don't really help anyone with anything, and that's why we totally stable.
Have no problems. Yeah,
perfectly fine.
Agree.
Yeah.
Every comedian I've ever met, everyone I've ever dated, everyone I've ever come in contact with, stable.
Right.
You're stable.
100%.
My therapists tell me all the time, your brain's too good. I can't see you anymore. I'm recommending you to someone else.
Yeah. No, I've had only really, really good reports, and when I do take my medication daily, I'm perfect. I'm an angel.
Yeah.
They call me Mr. Good Brain. Because my brain's so good. Speaking of which, thank you guys so much for listening. We deeply appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed this show, you can follow us wherever you get your social media. Underworld News Tonight. The name of this show is the name of us, wherever it is. If it's somewhere where the names are one word, it's one word. We are on Instagram, Facebook. There's also a fan group on Facebook that you can find in the show notes. TikTok, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. You should follow it. Natalie, you're on Instagram. What's your name on Instagram again?
Natalie Reff. My name.
You guys should follow Natalie Reff because she is very funny and very talented. She's like me if I could sing and could act, and was also a woman who lived in LA and also could do comedy. Jason, you're on Instagram.
Yeah, Jason V Strong.
You are. Oh, and I'm on Instagram. Andrew Michaels 95. You can find clips of me doing comedy. Not from last week because there was nobody at the bar last week because it was 0 degrees. So that's why there was nobody at the bar.
With what wind chill?
Yeah, what's the wind chill?
A lot of wind chill. Shut the fuck up.
Anyway, thanks for listening. Thank you, Natalie.
Thanks for having me.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, a good time.
Yeah.
Are you gonna sing?
Oh yeah, I do have to sing. But first, let me just say, because we do have to close out, 2024. 2020 was a hard year for a lot of reasons. I think most of all, the biggest reason why 2020 was so hard for people, I don't mean to get great here. Green Day had their worst album by far in 2020. And I don't know if you guys know this, but this year Green Day had an album, and I've listened to it, and it is their best post-American Idiot work. So we are so bad. So I think maybe I'll start by singing something by... no, I think I'll sing the Beatles. I will sing Yesterday because I do have somebody from theater camp here. Yesterday, all my troubles seemed so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Oh, it's all Phantom Time by right now. That's what I'm supposed to say. Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be. Thank you, Jason. There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday came suddenly. Why she had to go, I don't know. She wouldn't say.
She wouldn't say.
I said something wrong. Now I long for yesterday.
Bravo.